Now, people who work in the emergency services face high-pressure situations and often witness traumatic scenes. Today, a leading mental health charity is warning that nearly 9 out of 10 volunteers and staff suffer problems as a result.
Mind surveyed more than 3,500 people and found that many experience stress, low mood and poor mental health at some point while working. Eleanor Hathaway is a firefighter who's experienced depression.
I reckon it was going on for 3 months before I really paid attention properly to it and took it more seriously than just thinking, oh, this will be okay, I'll snap out of it. 3 months of kind of becoming very, very, very low, not being myself, not sleeping well, not eating regularly, being very careless about myself physically. And it's just a sense of kind of hopelessness or despairing or, you know, a blackness that, you know, a cloud that came over that I didn't realise.
Well, joining us now is Andy Graham, who's a firefighter with Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue, and from our London studio, Tom Pollard from the charity Mind. Morning to you both.
Good morning.
Andy, if I could come to you first of all, just tell us about your job and how it's affected you.
It's had a massive effect on me. I've been a firefighter for 28 years, which is nearly 60% of my life, and as a result of attending some really nasty incidents, I've developed PTSD, and I've on 2 occasions suffered mental and emotional breakdowns because of it, and I'm currently on modified duties working with Greater Manchester Fire Service.
PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder.
It is, yes.
So that's something that seriously affects your health, directly linked to something that you've seen at work?
Yes.
Something that's happened at work?
Yes. A number of incidents over a number of years. Initially started back in 1987.
When was the first sign that something was coming back? I mean, presumably there was a period of time where you're in denial. You go and see these things. I don't know how you deal with it at the time. There's a certain amount of black humour within the emergency services, and there's a way of that moment dealing with it. When did you realise it was having an impact long term?
When I fell apart in my doctor's surgery.
So there's a discussion. You've gone in saying what?
I went in with a back complaint after a really difficult night shift at Stretford Fire Station, which is just across the canal. I felt a lot of pain in my back, so I went to see my doctor and opened my mouth to say I've got a sore back, and just fell apart.
And he said, well, he realised it immediately. I can see you getting emotional even saying it now. Was that a relief that you'd said it out loud? I mean, obviously very traumatic at that moment in time, but possibly that was a chance to get...
It was my first opportunity to open up about what was going on in my head.
Tom, if I could just ask you, how common are stories like Andy's?
Well, we know from the survey that we carried out last year that, as you said, 9 in 10 people working in emergency services report stress and low mood and issues like that, and actually over half report having experienced mental health problems. And we know that a lot of that is to do with facing, you know, very difficult traumatic situations. But even beyond those specific incidents, we know that it's a high-pressured, stressful job, and so it's not that surprising that actually people do find that they're experiencing issues as a result. And so it's very important that the right support is there for people.
And Tom, when you talk about the right support, what can be put in place, you know, at the moment, you know, in the weeks after, possibly, by way of helping people?
So actually, Mind is today announcing a new package of support that the government's funding, and that takes a kind of range of forms. So initially we'll be working to try and sort of tackle stigma and discrimination so that people who are experiencing issues feel better able to speak out and seek help. We'll also be working with employers within blue light services to make sure that the right support and policies are there to support people who are experiencing issues, but also offering direct support and advice to personnel, but also family and friends who play a vital role in this as well.
That's interesting, Andy. To what extent did you feel you couldn't say what was going on in your own head?
To a huge extent, both inside the service and outside. One of the problems with dealing with the memories is that you don't want to describe what's going on in case you infect someone else. You don't want them building up the same sort of images in their mind. Well, it's how you perceive it. Plus, then there's also the issue of around, if I openly say I've got a mental health issue, are my employers going to see me differently and treat me differently? And if they do, is that going to be a positive thing or is it going to be a negative thing? And the reality is there is both at all levels within the services.
What could be done for you and for people like you who perhaps are dealing with a very difficult scene, whether it's a policeman at a scene of a crime or yourselves at the scene of a fire or a terrible accident? What could be done differently at that moment to help you more in the long term?
There are policies and procedures in place within some of the services. I can't speak for all the police forces and all the ambulance services and that, but within the fire service we have policies and procedures which have the potential to reduce the risk dramatically, but in my opinion they need a lot more work, and we could really do with the employers, the unions and the professional bodies getting involved with us, along with the employees.
And people hearing you talking this morning will be interested, curious to know, how are you now? I mean, how's things?
I still have issues. I still have issues, but we're working very, very hard to sort those out. It's not something that you can have a quick fix for, and the longer that you've been experiencing the issues without the support, the more drawn out the treatment is.
Really appreciate you sharing your story with everyone here, so thank you very much. And Tom Pollard from Mind, thank you for your time this morning as well.